Well, good morning. I'm Danielle Shenk in the 1011 Now Alert Center with this week's Crime Stoppers. Joining me now is Jared Minary with the Lincoln Police Department. How's it going today?
Doing good. Looking forward. I guess we got a Husker game today, so talk about some Crime Stoppers, and then you guys can get to all the Husker stuff.
Yes, we're going to be stopping a little bit of crime here this morning. We have two cases today that LPD is asking for the public's help with. The first is a theft at a local Sam's Club. So, Jared, what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this is back on December 16th, so obviously in the height of everybody getting their Christmas shopping done. We had a victim. She went into the Sam's Club on the south side of town, and basically she had a couple $100s in cash, set it down on the register, got distracted with, all the clerk activity and bagging things, and this cash was just sitting up on the register. Meanwhile, somebody just was walking by, noticed that cash was there, that she was distracted. They walked right over, and they just took that cash right off the register. So obviously, we're looking for this individual, and we have some video of him as he's taking that. As you can see, he kind of walks by, doubles back, and just swipes the cash. It's pretty quick and easy. And
it was definitely there for the taking.
Yeah, and the victim was right there. So it was pretty brazen that they were able to just take the cash without the victim noticing. So obviously we're looking for this individual. White male, tan shirt. He was also with a black male wearing a black shirt, and they left in a red 2006 to 2008 Honda Pilot. So we're hoping that somebody can give us a clue on these two individuals, so we can at least get back to this guy, so that way we can get this money returned to our victim in this case.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Sam's Club can definitely be overwhelming. I know I have a Sam's Club membership myself, so the scan and go is super helpful. That you wouldn't even have to deal with the cash or a cashier. You just scan the little thing on the barcode. Apps these days. That is one piece of updated technology that I'm like,
it's very convenient. I've used it as well.
So when it comes to this, do you guys believe that the two men are working together, or was it maybe just an action of the guy in beige?
I think this was just a moment of opportunity, and this guy took it. We don't have any reason to believe that the black male in this has committed any crime, but since he's with this guy, we are hoping that maybe somebody can identify one of these two guys so we can get back to our original person that took the money. Mm-hmm. So obviously, we're putting the images out there just to try to get an identity on this guy.
Yeah, so did the victim attempt to stop the suspect? Did they see it later, or did store employees notice it?
It was recognized after the fact, so obviously that victim was not really paying enough attention to notice. And of course, as we've all done when we're shopping, sometimes we get a little lackadaisical about some of our safety issues. I mean, we could go on for days talking about people leaving purses in places that are vulnerable, or cash out, or credit cards in places they shouldn't. But that's kind of what happens when you go shopping. You just got to watch out. Yeah, there will be people that will take opportunity when it is provided to them.
Mm-hmm. And so what kind of details should the public look for if they spot this Honda Pilot?
So obviously, it's not the greatest video of this car, so we don't have any good details of damage to it specifically. But we do believe we've narrowed it down to 2006 to 2008, so that really limits it quite a bit. And I don't know which person was driving the vehicle at the time of this, but we do know it's related to these two guys.
Okay, and so what kind of advice do you have for people to avoid similar cash grab thefts?
Well, luckily Christmas shopping is over, so hopefully some of the craziness and the rush has started to dwindle down. But of course, we do have the season of returns going on right now, so there's still a lot moving around. So when you're out and about, obviously, just pay attention to your belongings, where you're putting objects. People do lay credit cards down all the time and walk away. We are definitely overwhelmed with all the things we're doing in those moments. So you really need to just kind of take a step back and make sure that you're paying attention to that. Don't leave your purse, like I said, in your shopping cart and then walk 10 feet away. We've seen people steal purses many times in that kind of case. When I'm out shopping, I've seen a lot of that, and it always drives me crazy. I just want to stop somebody and be like, hey, just don't do that, right?
Yeah.
But it's definitely something that as we go around and we do our Christmas shopping or returns this time of year, just be aware there are going to be people out there that are looking for that opportunity. And we do have some people that sometimes are traveling, and they are actually intentionally going out and trying to steal purses or credit cards from people. So even when it's not opportunity, you might actually be a victim when they actually intend to do it. And so all the more reason to really just pay attention to your belongings, keep them close.
Absolutely. And so now to our second case, a residential burglary. So, Jared, what can you tell us about this one?
So this is a residence that's near Southeast High School, kind of just to the north of Van Dorn around 37th Street. Basically, the victims in this case, they did have all their doors locked, so they were trying to do all the things you do. So good for them in that case. Unfortunately, their garage had a window that was broken out, which allowed someone to gain access. Once they were in that garage, they used an axe to pry into the house that was in the garage. This is not probably an opportunity for just an opportunistic crime. Like they didn't just do this by opportunity, because in this case, the victim recognized one male of the three people that were there as someone that they had known in the past. However, we don't know who the two people are that were with him, so we're trying to get identification on this guy, white male here with this gray ball cap. He was in the residence, and then there was also a female that was with them during this incident, and we're trying to get information on those two to tie into the one we do know from the victim's identification. What they did when they went in the house, they took a whole bunch of stuff about, I mean, honestly, it could be higher than this, but they're estimating $4,500 worth of stuff taken from the house. They took multiple TVs, some speakers, an Xbox, a Yeti cooler, and a lot of Milwaukee tools. So all of that stuff can be pretty valuable. And we don't know where they are, so if you happen to know where the items are that they stole, what they did with them, if they're trying to sell them or keep them, if you give us a tip, we would appreciate knowing where the merchandise is as well. That will help us not only with the case, but also with the victim getting their stuff back. They did leave in a gold tan Chevy pickup. So again, maybe knowing the pickup and these two people will help somebody give us a good identification on them.
Yeah, and I think even this guy here, he looks like he's pointing at the camera maybe in this picture.
It's possible, yeah. Sometimes it's always amazes me how many people will see a camera and then look down and like, oh, you don't see me? But all we need is a split second and we got your face. Even in this kind of case, he's got a ball cap on. It does help kind of hide his identity, but at some point they usually look up enough that we get something. And I would not be surprised if we clear this case. These are good enough images. We should get these guys identified.
Yeah, and so do investigators believe that the shattered window was the point of entry, or was that just speculation from the victim?
We know that that's how they got into the garage, and we know that there was an axe used in the garage to get into the house. So they obviously, in that case, they were just using something in the garage to try to get into the house.
Sure. Were there any signs that the home was specifically targeted, since maybe the victim knows one of the people?
Yeah. It sounds like the individual in this case that the victim identified did have a relationship with this person at the residence in some form or fashion in the past that had gone sour. So it's been many months since they've been friendly in one way or another. And so now it's possible it was a targeting kind of situation just because maybe they've been in this residence and they know what's in there and they knew what they could take.
Yeah. The Yeti cooler is kind of a little specific to maybe find, unless it was just sitting out. That one really kind of stuck out to me. But
it's possible they could have used that to get some of the tools out as well. Yeah. So if you load that Yeti cooler full of stuff, then it might be easier to transport stuff out.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so you mentioned that one person who was identified by the victim. Is that correct? What do you know what role that person played in this?
That one's still under investigation at this point, so we have not made an arrest on this person, but we do know who they are.
All right. And do you have any other details about the pickup that you can share, or just that it's the gold Chevy?
It's just, we know it's an older one. We don't know much more about it.
Okay. And so if neighbors know who this is, recognize who it is, maybe see some of the tools, that Yeti cooler, what should neighbors do if they recognize that stuff?
Well, obviously, you can always call Lincoln Police Department at their non-emergency number of 402-441-6000. Of course, you can always call Crime Stoppers if you want to remain anonymous or you want to be eligible for a reward in this case, or either cases, I should say. If you call Crime Stoppers, basically what they're going to do is they're going to give you a tipster ID number. You keep that. That's going to keep you anonymous. The ways to report and get those rewards or that tipster ID number is to go through either calling that 402-475-3600 number or by going online to lincolncrimestoppers.com, where you can see these cases and other cases we're looking for suspects in. And, of course, my favorite option is that P3 app you can put on your phone. It just makes everything easier for everybody, I think, in the end, and it allows us to have a little bit of a communication with the tipster to ask follow-up questions, which we normally wouldn't get in the other situations, and it still does keep you anonymous, even though we are able to almost have like a nice text conversation with you.
Yeah. You also sent, I don't know, the Spotify Wrapped
Yes.
version of LPD. If
I
you
love
wanna
this. I
chat
do.
about that again, because like we were able to get it up as well this last time, but
So we updated it just because we're closer and we are here at the end of the year. I thought it might be nice to kind of just give you a little overall where we're at right now. However, this is not really going to be our year-end totals just because a lot of these cases are still coming in for cases that have been happening over the last few months.
Yeah.
So as those get solved, they were in the year of 2025, but we may not clear them until a couple of months into 2026. So obviously, these are the numbers we got right now. We're pretty proud of some of this stuff. We had 827 cases that were posted to Lincoln Crime Stoppers, and half of those were identified with suspects, at 422 suspects. So that's really good stats for anything in law enforcement, is to clear half your cases. So pretty proud of that. Obviously, 2,126 tips received in order to get those stats. And so we appreciate all 2,126 of those contacts from our local residents to give us information on crime happening in Lincoln to help us solve those cases that either were a dead end for us or we just needed a little push over the finish line. Obviously, you can see we have our top crimes for the year. Shoplifting really probably isn't a surprise just because it happens all the time, no matter what city you're in. But we in Lincoln actually post those cases. A lot of police departments don't even bother with them. If they don't know them, they just get away with it. And so pretty proud that Lincoln is proactive enough to try to get people, even on the small stuff, because those small things usually develop into big things. So let's stop it when it's early. Of course, the larceny from auto and building is number 2. Hit and run, number 3. Burglary is number 4. And vandalism, number 5. All good things. My favorite part about this is it's not major crimes that are on our top 5 list.
Yes.
You don't have homicides or anything like that. So good job, Lincoln. I feel like these are really good stats. We've cleared a lot of stuff. We have all small stuff, not big things.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it's not like all the crimes are done. There's there's plenty on the Crime Stoppers website, if I can get it to pull up here.
Yeah, crime doesn't really take Christmas vacation off, so we have plenty always happening.
Yeah, and so looking at the list here on Lincoln Crime Stoppers, plenty of cases that Lincoln Police needs the public's help with.
Yep.
Cars that need identified, people, lots of good stuff there.
Yep. So make sure you go there. Like I said, I think we're the only police department in the world that actually posts everything from a stolen cheeseburger up to homicide. So I do believe it makes an impact on keeping Lincoln safe, and it wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for the public helping us out on this. So we really appreciate all the help that everybody gives us.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, this is LincolnCrimeStoppers.com. So Jared, thanks so much for joining us here today.
Thanks for having us in.
Absolutely. So you can stay tuned to the 1011 Now website. Follow us on all our social platforms and make sure to download our app on Roku for the latest news of the day. From our newsroom to wherever you are, we'll see you on the next stream.
1011 News is everywhere.
Woo!
Download
This
our smart
thing
TV
needs a new
apps
battery.
and follow us on social media at 1011 News.